In a land far, far away, there was a princess with long red hair. This princess had a beautiful flower garden. The red roses especially were giving great happiness to the princess. In the evening, when the people in the country went to bed to fall asleep, the Rose Princess would go out to the balcony of the palace and clap her hands 3 times. Hearing this sound, a tiny golden bird flew into the Rose Princess's hand. And at that moment, the princess's hair began to shine brightly. The cute bird began to sing beautifully. And the princess was singing a lullaby with her velvet voice.
Close your eyes tonight.
Everyone who heard this beautiful lullaby of the princess would slowly close their eyes and fall asleep immediately.
It's time to say goodnight.
Sweet dreams and good night, beautiful people of my country. While the nights were passing in peace and joy thanks to the Rose Princess, one day, a witch with a pointed hat and scowling came to the palace of the Rose Princess with a flying broom. La da 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 da. I can't stand this princess singing anymore! I'm fed up! The frowning witch decided to cast an evil spell on the princess. Alakazam! Palakazam! Let the roses wither! Let the Rose Princess be silent! At that moment, the princess's hair turned into black as coal black. What's going on with my hair? They're all black! And it's now bedtime! Ugh. The princess with her black hair went out to the balcony to sing a lullaby to her people. She clapped her hands 3 times. The golden little bird flew again and landed in her hand. Rose Princess's black hair was shining again. Although the princess wondered what happened to her red hair, she started to sing her lullaby with the bird.
Close your eyes tonight.
Everyone in the country fell into a deep sleep. But instead of good dreams, they had terrible nightmares. There were even children who woke up crying.
Mommy!
I had a very scary dream.
I don't want to sleep at night anymore. My dreams are so scary.
So are mine.
In the evening of the next day, the Rose Princess, who learned that her people were having nightmares, went back to her balcony and called her golden little bird. My little bird, my people are tired of having nightmares. Help me to heal their dreams before morning.
Let the roses make your hair smile. Do-ee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Let the roses make your hair smile. Do-ee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Roses make my hair smile? With the bird's advice, the princess filled a large tub with water. She also put a handful of red rose petals in it. The water has turned red. The princess dipped her hair in this water. The hair turned red at that very moment. Roses made my hair smile. The little bird was telling the truth. Hooray! That night, when the princess sang a lullaby,
Close your eyes tonight.
everyone in the country slept peacefully.
Until morning light.
and had beautiful dreams. Realizing that the spell she had cast on the Rose Princess was broken, the frowning witch got angry and cursed her once again.
Alakazam! Palakazam! Let the roses wither! Let the Rose Princess be silent!
Then she withered all the rosebuds in the country and fled. Rose Princess was very upset when she saw that her hair was coal black again.
Oh, no way! Again? What is happening to me?
The princess asked her assistants to bring rose petals immediately to fix her hair. However, the assistants could not find even a single rose in the garden or the country.
What am I gonna do now, little bird? Tell me, huh?
Let the roses make your hair smile. Do-do-do-do-do-do.
But there's not even a single rose in the whole country. Wait, don't go!
Rose Princess was so upset that she started to cry loudly. The tears flowing from her eyes have fallen to the ground. At that time, there was a young and handsome man passing through the palace garden. When this young man saw the tears falling to the ground, he took out a box from his pocket, and inside there was a thin red strand of hair. Left the strand of red hair on the tears on the ground. A strand of red hair turned into a sparkling red rose in an instant. The handsome man took the rose and went to the princess. The princess, who was sadly standing by the bathtub full of water, was very excited when she saw the handsome man entering.
You! I remember you!
Yes, I am, your childhood friend. This flower is for you. Please accept it, my Rose Princess.
The princess was so happy when she saw the red rose her childhood friend brought her. Immediately after, she threw the rose into the tub. She then dipped her hair in water. And finally, the witch's curse was broken. That coal-black hair has turned red again. Seeing the happiness of his daughter, the king was very curious.
Young man, please tell me, how did you find this rose when there was not a single rose left in the whole country? This rose was formed with the sad tears of our princess and a strand of her red hair that I kept since childhood. My dear king, my loyalty is endless.
That's right, Daddy. Look, I've been keeping a strand of his hair in this box for years, too.
The king was impressed by the loyalty of both the princess and the young man. Thus, the Rose Princess and her childhood friend, the handsome man, got married the very next day. Realizing that her curse was broken by the power of love, the witch realized that she could never win again and flew to the lands far, far away.
Once upon a time, there were two sisters, Mangita and Larina, who lived in a small cottage. Mangita was a hard worker. She used to work in her father's grocery store in her spare time. Larina, on the other hand, loved to travel and have fun. When she was bored, she looked at herself by the river and combed her hair for a long time. Today, I am more beautiful than my sister again. One day, Mangita and Larina's father went on a long journey from which there was no return. Although Mangita was very sad about her father's departure, Larina was so happy. Hee! Now every day I can sit by the river until morning. After her father left, Mangita started working harder. She was sweeping the floor in the mornings, making a delicious soup in the afternoon, and hanging the laundry. Larina's only pastime was to cause trouble for her sister. She was dirtying the carpets in the house, pouring ice-cold water into the cooked soup. Why is the soup still cold? And why are these carpets dirty? I just cleaned them. The animals you feed have made them dirty. Huh! One day, Larina went out for a walk in the forest. She was just plucking the unripe fruit and threw them into the river. Meanwhile, an old woman who was walking slowly approached her.
Hello, beautiful girl. I'm very hungry. Can you give me some fruit too?
Larina handed the old woman the tasteless wild strawberries she had just picked.
Ma'am, you can eat as much as you want. These are the most delicious strawberries in the world.
The old woman had a stomachache as soon as she ate the strawberries.
Are these strawberries delicious? Ooh! Thank you anyway.
As Larina was returning home, the old woman fell asleep. While Mangita was out picking vegetables in the forest for the meal, she saw the old woman who fell ill. She immediately brought her home and put her on the bed.
What is this woman doing in our house? She smells so bad.
Don't say that, Larina. The woman is very sick. We must feed her with healthy food to heal her. Mangita prepared hot soups and herbal teas for the old woman. On the other hand, Larina secretly threw away the soups and put soil in the herbal teas. Larina, did you put soil in this herbal tea? Tell me now!
No, it wasn't me. That old woman put it herself.
Within a few days, the old woman recovered.
You are a kind-hearted girl, Mangita. If you ever get sick, eat these blueberries every day. You'll recover immediately.
Mangita, who was very tired of doing housework alone for a long time, eventually fell very ill and was lying in bed. Larina, can you bring the blueberries the old lady gave me? But Larina ate all the blueberries herself.
There is nothing here. The birds you feed must have eaten them.
Mangita became even more sluggish and fell asleep in a sweat. Larina, on the other hand, left the house and went to the river to comb her hair. At that time, the old woman appeared before her again.
Hey, little girl, where is your sister? She packed fruit in sacks and went to work. Ugh, what's it to you?
The old woman realized that Larina was lying. She immediately went to their house to see Mangita. When the old woman saw this young girl who was helping her, sweating and sick, she was very upset and wept for a long time. Larina, who was watching them from the window, laughed out loud. Just then, the old woman turned into a beautiful fairy. Larina was very surprised to see the fairy. She happily entered the house.
You are a fairy. I opened my home to you. You owe me. Give me the most beautiful hair in the world. Quick, use magic now and make my wish come true.
In fact, when the fairy saw Larina for the first time, she turned into an old woman to see if she was a good person. I gave the opportunity to do one favor, but you always did bad. At that moment, the fairy waved her magic wand from side to side. Larina's hair has turned into ivy.
Ah, my hair! What happened to my hair? They're so ugly now! Help!
Larina ran to the riverside in fear and looked at her hair. As flies were flying around her head, her ivy hair was stuck in the ground all of a sudden.
I've become so ugly. I don't want to look at myself anymore.
At that time, the fairy fed Mangita a blueberry, and Mangita finally recovered and opened her eyes. Thank you, fairy. I feel so much better now. The fairy waved her wand twice and turned the little cottage they lived in into a stunning palace. Mangita was very surprised and impressed when she saw the palace. Goodness is always rewarded, young girl, and this palace is your reward. Thank you, fairy. What about my sister? What happened to her? Your sister will forever stare at her ugly reflection by the riverside. But I love my sister so much. What's the point of living alone in this huge palace without her? Give us a happy life in our cottage again, fairy. That's all I wish from you. The fairy was very happy when she heard Mangita's words. First, she transformed the magnificent palace back into a cottage again. Later, she went to Larina and restored her ivy hair to its former beautiful state with her magic wand. Larina hugged Mangita happily. You saved me. I'm very sorry. I will be a good person now. I promise. Larina understood at that moment that the happiness of helping people is worth everything. Because happiness becomes more beautiful when shared.